Today I'm going to present my research proposal entitled a comparative study of touch control in long lungs and evening kissing performance of Lisa's transcendental etudes. The project falls within the field of performance analysis and comparative study in music research methodology. I focus on concepts that we talk about all the time in piano lessons. Touch control, but which has not yet before and systematically examined in academic research. Over the next 30 minutes, I will follow the typical structure of a research paper. I will start with the background and problem statement, then move on to the literature review, explain my methodology, present some preliminary or expected findings, and finally discuss the significance, limitations, and possible future directions of the study. Let me first give some background. And many of you know, Lisa's transcendental etudes are not only emblematic of romantic virtuosity, but also pieces that pianists frequently use to prove themselves in compositions, recitals, and recordings. I think their importance does not lie only in their technical difficulty, rather these etudes subtly combine technique and musically. If a performance is technically square but lacks control of tone and phrasing, the music sounds like a merry exercise. On the other hand, if there is emotional intention but insufficient touch control, the music ideas cannot be fully realized. Here, touch control becomes a classical concept. Touch is not just pressing the keys. It is a complete chain from the body to the sound, the way fingers and the right move, how arm weight the transfer rate, how fast the keys are struck, and how deep they are depressed. All these factors travel through the piano machinery and manifest in the resulting timbre, the dynamic, and the phrasing. In today's piano sense, long and even kissing are among the most prominent pianists. Even people who are not pianists themselves have often heard their names or seen their performance online. We usually also Katie Lang with words like extrovert, theoretical, emotionally intense, and highly contrasted in tone. Kissing, on the other hand, is often described as a recited, regular, structurally clear, and snoikally dense. Incidentally, both pianists have recorded these works, including the transcendental issues, yet there is very little discrete comparisons between them in scholar research. Most commentary comes from reviews, interviews, or audience impressions, rather than from systematic performance analysis. This leads to my problem statement. Although there is a wizard of research on lizard and romantic piano performance in general, several gaps remain when we zoom in on the level of touch. First, touch is often mentioned, for example, stay close the keys or use arm weight, but it is really treated as a separate analytical dimension with its own framework. Second, many studies describe the style of single form, but few place to pianist side by seed in the same repertory for direct comparison. Third, discussions of touch often rely heavily on experimental, experimental or descriptive language, such as brilliant tone or transparent sound. Without tracking these qualities back to specific actions or bodily movements. Fourth, although we now have abundant high definition video recordings, this viral research course has not been fully exploited for the analysis of hand positions, body posture, and touch details. Based on these issues, my study has four main purposes. One, to describe and compare to touch characteristics of lang and kissing in selected transcendental etudes within a shared analytical framework. Two, establish connections between touch and the resulting timbre, dynamics, phrasings, and expressive characters, and to see whether there are stable partners. Three, to better understand style by relating difference in touch to each pianist order. Why one is perceptive as more romantic and the other as more structural. Four, to construct an analyze model that can later be applied to other pianists and repertories, such as comparing different schools' approach to Bach or Chopin. These aims are translated into three principal research questions. Question one, in the selected transcendental etudes, what observable touch characteristics does each pianist display? For example, finger height, key proximity, right in movement, and so on. Question two, how do approaches to articulation, timbre design, and dynamic shaping different in a statement way. How are these differences related at the level of phrasing? And question 3. How do these technical and sonic difference relative and reinforce their distinctivity identities as performance? In other words, if we only listen without seeing, we can still recognize who is playing and how is recognition related to touch. In terms of before moving on, let me briefly, carefully to scope of the study and a few key terms. Reading scope. The subjects are limited to pianist Lang Lang and even kissing. Their repertory consists of a few selected etudes from the transcendental seat, such as numbers 4, numbers 10, and number 12. Where both technical and musical challenges are prominent. The data come slowly from public available professional recording and HD videos. As for terminology, touch control refers to fine control of key attract. Timbre is the perceived color or sound, and the articulation concerns the way notes are connected or separated. Interpretation is the performance, overall understanding, and the realization of the piece. In my literature review, I focus on 3 texts. First, literature review, I focus on 3 texts. To collection how scholars define and discuss touch and timbre. Second, to review recent studies on performance analysis and pianist style comparison. Third, to summarize several key debates surrounding touch and tone. And many performance and studies suggest that a pianist's actions influence the edge, attack, sounding, and decay protections of the tone through the key and the action. For example, some experiments compare fast but slow key strict with a slower or deeper, and show that they produce different spiritual and technique transient property. And at the same time, research in music precipitation indicates that listener can often recognize individual performance by song alone, without visual cues. The implies that performance identity is encoded in the sound, which is exactly what my study theory tries to explore at the level of touch. After reading the literature, I see two main gaps. First, there is no studies that directly compares to touch of lang and kissing in the same set of pieces. My text comment on their style sparingly, but very few place their performance set by set in a systematic way. Second, even we touch and Tiber are discussed, there is a lack of video-based, systematically coded analysis of gesture, such as finger height, right angle, and body weight shift. So my study aims to address these gaps by using exciting recordings and videos to conduct a more detailed comparison between the two pianists and to test whether a touch-based analytical framework is workable. In terms of methodology, I adopt a qualitative, descriptive, and exploratory design, talking a comparative case study approach. I chose this method partly because touch and timbre are inherently subjective, and a purely quantitative approach might miss many nuances, and partly because I want first to discover what is there in an open way, and only later consider whether it is suitable to develop more contrasted examination. And even though the study is quantitative, I still define several analytical dimensions to structure my observation. The independent variable is simply which pianist is playing. The dependent variable can be understood as several window or observation. The relationship between fingers and keys, high finger actions or close to keys technique, the involvement of the right and arm. Is there visible cash knowing and weight transfer? Articulation, how thickly is the legato and how short or even the staccato. Timbre is attack clear. Is there any noise component? Is the tone rounded or sharp? Dynamic control are the dynamics shaped in large contrast or gradually slopes. Pedaling, deep pedal, half pedal, or frequent changes. And in the data collection, and analyze the product consists of several steps. Pieces selection, data acquisition, literature view and listening, coding, compressing, and synthetic.
There is a wire behind the laptop. Smash right behind it. Then only you switch on now. Did you switch on? I think we need to switch on the speaker and switch behind. It's okay, you're gonna demonstrate this, right? Then what else you have after? What else you have after? It's okay, it's okay. What else you have after? Okay. Alright. It's fine, it's okay, it's hands off. What else you have? Just yeah, it's down here. Let's see. No, just keep going. Keep going. That's all, that's the last slide. Okay. Alright, move on. How come you have 4 by 1? You shouldn't have 4, chapter 4.
Chapter 4, okay.
You shouldn't have chapter 4. Okay. Alright, Smart. Could you show me your title page? Your title page, first page.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Which one is your title?
Positive study of charge control in nano-EVTC.
So how about the subtitle below? There is a subtitle below, right? There are too many keywords in your title. Too many keywords, okay? Okay. Then could you move on to your research objective?
Objective.
Okay. It's okay. Just okay. So there are two main things you are looking at. You are looking at touch, control, then RQ2 you are looking at articulation, timbre, dynamics. So may I ask that articulation, timbre, and dynamics is contributing to touch control? What you are looking at? There are too many keywords here. Could you slightly explain?
I think the touch control and the control is influenced the study panels student or
And then why you are looking at articulation, timbre, and dynamics? But you are keep telling me you are looking at touch control, right?
I just look the videos. So I'm not
Is it because touch control will influence the articulation, timbre, and dynamics?
yeah.
Then you should revise your research question because by looking at this, I thought they have been analyzed separately. question you are looking at articulation, temper, and dynamics. They are different things. They have to be the same. Do you need to explain yourself on this?
I know.
Okay, alright. Okay, why will you pick Lang Lang and this Jenny kissing? Why?
I think it's very famous in China and in
Western country. Okay. How you know that these two people represent their country?
The Long's the style is it's very fantastic and yeah, and the kissing his style is just for me I think it's the shy or some shooting. Yeah.
Okay,
So
keeping
I,
from
yeah, so I think I want to conduct with this two pair pianist.
Okay. Alright, my last, to show me your chapter 3, IV. Okay, you are doing experimental or exploratory? Exploratory, you shouldn't have variables. And you shouldn't have treatment of study. Next slide. You shouldn't have treatment of study because you are not going to have treatment. Okay, next slide. Participant, okay, it's fine. 3.7. Instrumentation. Could you slightly explain? Selection, position. Okay. Alright, okay. So now you need to revise some of the content that shouldn't be appear in exploratory study. Okay? And you can revise your title and your research questions. Okay? Alright, next slide.